Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kane 23 Sports YouTube channel. And today we'll be doing our ACC power rankings for the quarterbacks. So the ACC, it is pretty stacked in quarterbacks potential in the top 5. I mean, the top 6 is some pretty good quarterbacks, maybe even top 20 all in the country. So the ACC's got some pretty good quarterbacks and some upside coming here in the quarterbacks. So let's start off the list here with Dennis Grossel here at 15. So Dennis Grossel, he really needs to improve his accuracy. As you guys see, 48.4 completion percentage last year. That was really bad. And that is one of the worst. It's not even the worst in the ACC I've seen in this list. So that is why he's last. It really needs better. He needs better talent around him. I meant better talent around him, not just better talent. And then he has some potential. You know, he does have some potential. Let's look at his stats here. 2019, 983 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Obviously, with that 48% completion percentage. You know, Boston College, they're losing their starting running back. You know, mainly A.J. Dillon, I think was his name. It was their best player last year. So now losing him is going to be pretty big here for Grossel, as he's not losing one of his biggest targets and best players on his team. So we'll see how he can do with that. And, yeah. But Grossel, he has some potential. So moving on now, here to number 14 on our list, Brennan Armstrong. So he was behind Bryce Perkins the whole season last year. And does not have a lot of experience. He's not really played a lot. And the reason that he has 2 interceptions on his stats from last year is one of the reasons why I have him this low at 14. Not a lot of playing time, and those 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown are really not the greatest sign. So, and then 196 yards and 75% completion. Now moving on to our next player, James Graham. The only reason I have him ahead of Brennan Armstrong was because Graham has some better stats, and yeah. So Graham was a primary quarterback, so he has some more experience than Armstrong does, and he does not have a lot of talent and needs to be more accurate. So let's look at his stats here: 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 picks with 45.1. That is bad. That is actually worse than Grossel. So yeah, he really needs to improve his accuracy by a lot, or else this team might not even win more than 3 or 4 games this year, which is probably where they're going to be around. They're really going to need Graham to step up the next season to be that quarterback that they're looking for. The next guy on this list, now moving on to number 12, Devin Leary. Devin Leary last year split time with Matt McKay. Should be the starter in 2020 and needs to be more accurate, as again he has a really bad completion percentage, 48.1. Played 2019 stats, 1,219 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Really needs to improve those interception there, and that's one of the main things he needs to do: be more accurate with the football and know where to throw it better, obviously. So yeah, Leary should be expected to start this year. Would not be surprised if he if he doesn't do that too well, maybe has to sit out or like gets benched. So yeah, that's moving us to our next player here, number 11, Chase Bryce. I have Chase Bryce ahead of Leary. Some people have Leary ahead of Bryce. It's 50-50. I just think Chase Bryce, having the experience behind Trevor Lawrence, is going to really be a big help. And yeah, transferred from Clemson last season. Obviously, he has some really good experience behind Lawrence and hasn't played a lot. As you look at his stats here, career stats, 2019, 581 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception with a 58% completion rating. And then 2018, his stats were a bit better for completion rating, but yeah, 442 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 62.7 completion rating. So Bryce overall is a pretty good quarterback. I think if he has the targets around him and he can get some players to step up big time for him, and the receivers and the running backs, this Duke team can be pretty good. But I think it'll take Bryce a year to get settled in to the Duke offense. So yeah, leading us to our next player, Sam Hartman. You guys might be thinking, why is he so low? Sam Hartman, I mean, 2018 stats weren't too bad, but he needs to be much more accurate. I just don't really trust him that much. The next few guys are gonna see, I kind of trust more than Hartman. Yeah, so he mainly played behind Newman last season, had a decent 2018 season, and needs to be more accurate. So career stats, 2019, 830 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 56.7 completion rating. 2018 stats, 1,984 yards, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 55.3 completion rating. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like he needs more targets. And the one time I saw him play against a good defense, he got shut out. Not shut out, but like I don't know if it was a shutout, but he really I just don't trust this guy. I really feel like he just needs to get some better players around him and just needs to be more accurate with the football. Leading us to our next guy, Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito, I feel like he has a lot of upside. Look at his stats. He was one of the main reasons Syracuse didn't be the worst team in the ACC last year, because he's pretty accurate. He's pretty accurate with the football. He's pretty accurate. He had a huge step up from 2018. As you see, he had a lot of upside. Decent 2019 season. Needs more talent around him. That's one of the main reasons why he struggles to either complete the ball or throw touchdowns, because he needs more talent around him. So 2019 stats: 2,360 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions at a 63% completion rating. 2018 stats. Yeah. So next we move on to our next player, number 8. James Blackman. I've seen him be around 9 or 8. I feel like this is a good spot for him, 8. He was the main quarterback in 2019. He really needs to be more accurate and throw less interceptions, because that interception problem really has to get better, as you see 11 interceptions, 1 interception, and 11 interceptions. So total 23 interceptions in his 3 years that he played. So, yeah. He has a lot of talent around him. FSU has a lot of talent. They have some receivers. They got some good recruiting. So, I would expect Blackman to take a big step up this year. Maybe throw about 28 touchdowns. And hopefully he can lower his interception rating. We'll see. Or interception, sorry. Not rating. Yeah. So, his career stats. 2019, he was decent. 2,000 yards. 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and and you guys can see the rest. Moving on to our next player here, number 7, Kenny Pickett from the University of Pittsburgh. Pickett's good. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. He has some experience and needs to throw less interceptions, that's for sure. As you guys can see, 9 interceptions and 6 interceptions in 2018. So, yeah. He has some experience and needs to work on the accuracy. As the accuracy isn't too good, but needs to work on it a bit more. Get it to the 63 to 60, just get it to about 65 or something would be good and ideal. Career stats year 2019, really big step from 2018. That is why he's high on this list, because he had a big step and he really improved. 2019, 3,098 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions on a 61% completion rating. Moving on to our next player, number 6, Hendon Hooker. Last year, he split time with Ryan Willis in 2019. He's a really accurate quarterback, and rarely you can see Hooker throw interceptions, as he's been a pretty accurate and pretty good quarterback, as he came in for Ryan Willis when he was really struggling, and really changed the whole season here for Virginia Tech. He wasn't looking too well, and then he comes in and just has a good season. So, yeah, career stats only at 1 year, 1,555 yards, and 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions with a 61.1% completion rating. Hooker, he's going to be pretty good this year. Yeah. Moving on to the next player here, at the number 5, Malik Cunningham. I feel like the top 5, I'm also including Notre Dame. So, yeah. I feel like the top 5 is going to be pretty self-explanatory. You'll see he's a really accurate quarterback, rarely throws interceptions, and has a lot of potential. As you can see, he's going to be really good quarterback here coming into this season, as he's a good quarterback. He does not throw a lot of interceptions, has some good touchdowns, and he can run the ball. He's a mobile quarterback. So, yeah. Career stats year 2019, 2,061 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 62.4% completion rating. So that is number 5. Cunningham, I expect him to have a good year, and he has his main receiver in Tutu Atwell, who has been a really, really good receiver, very fast receiver. So Cunningham, he's going to have a good year. Now moving on to number 4, not a big surprise here at all in my opinion. Derek King from the Miami Hurricanes. He transferred from Houston, has a lot of upside, very mobile quarterback. Again, with Malik Cunningham, he can run the ball. He could score touchdowns on his legs, so he's going to have a good year. I feel like, he could be a surprise. He can either be a big bust or a Heisman kind of candidate player, like a Heisman candidate player, because I've seen people put him in the Heismans, not like as a Heisman, but I've seen people put him in the top 10 or like top 15. He can move up to the top 5 if he can have a really good year with these receivers in Miami. Transferred from Houston, has a lot of upside, a very mobile quarterback. Career stats 2019, 663 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with a 52.7% completion rating. He didn't really play much. He just didn't play well. But 2018 was the year he had his main year, as you guys can see, 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Now moving on to number 3, Ian Book. This might be really controversial because, you got some other guys ahead of him that, you could swap Book with, like Sam Howell. But we'll see what I have them at. You guys probably expected it. Probably expect already what I'm going to have because you guys know Ian Book's right here. The last 2 will be pretty self-explanatory. So 5th season at Notre Dame. Had over 3,000 yards last year. That was crazy. And he had 2 seasons with 2,500 yards, so that is pretty good. Career stats year 2019, 3,034 yards, 34 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 60.2% completion rating. In 2018, 2,628 yards and 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 68%. That was really good. All right, so now moving on to number 2, Sam Howell. This is a big shock for some of you guys, but look at Howell's stats. He had a better year than Book last year. Howell led the ACC in passing touchdowns. That is crazy considering you got guys like Malik Cunningham and Trevor Lawrence in there. That was really, really good by Sam Howell to do that as a true freshman, and he had a big 2019 season. So yeah, he also has a lot of upside here. Career stats here 2019 is only year because he was a true freshman last year. 3,641 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions as led by Mac Brown. All right, moving on to number 1, not a surprise, biggest surprise of the day, huh? Trevor Lawrence, most accurate quarterback in the ACC in 2019, led the ACC in total yards, passing, and then also he's a big Heisman contender, Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, I expect Trevor Lawrence probably to win the Heisman this year, or like Justin Fields or like Chuba Hubbard, one of those guys probably going to win the Heisman this year. Some career stats here by Lawrence. 2019, 3,665 yards, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 65.8% completion. And then didn't really change a lot the year before. Actually, it was kind of better. Not really, though. Interceptions and touchdowns were lower, but the interceptions part's better. And completion was pretty much the same. 3,280 yards, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 65.2% completion. That's going to wrap it up for the ACC Quarterbacks Power Rankings. Hope you guys enjoyed. Later tonight, we're going to have our Florida Gators 2020 college football full preview and predictions. I'll see how I have the Gators going, but we already all know that I had Georgia winning that division in the East because I had Georgia beating Florida. So, yeah. Kane23 Sports signing out. As always, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.